Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before we get started, I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Kwadash, and double honors to those great millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those fillet that is scattered abroad. I like to say, shalom. Come back here today with another great and powerful live lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So the title of the live today is News and Prophecy, the calm before the storm. So I'd like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. So we're just gonna go on. We're just gonna go into a lot of like prophecy and what's going on into the news today. So we already know DJ Donald Trump. You know, he's already has given another executive order to pretty much to take over Washington, D.C. And also it's talking about it's going to help stop crime and also take the homeless people off the street. And also, I think it's mental illness peoples and also people that have drug addiction, drug addicted, you know, some type of drug problem. But we're seeing right now that we're getting very close to the devil that come down with great wrath. So we're seeing right now, this has been in the news all day. We're just gonna get a little bit of this report. So right now it's like a lot of people, it's rumors that they're saying it's like it's a martial law or a mini martial law that they are doing on Washington, D.C. And also a lot of people are saying that this is a test run to what's to come. So they seeing if they can pull it off here in Washington, D.C., they can pull it off in like Chicago, New York. They already begun in Chicago. Why they already want to get the military involved. So we seeing that America is slowly becoming a military state. So let's get a little bit of this news a report. I have some news report and also I have some videos to bring it out too. Also, it says here, once again, I like to say shalom to everyone, you know, that joining me on this live. Shalom. Brakatha. It says here, it said Trump announces a federal takeover of D.C. Police and mobilization of the National Guard. It says here, it says what we have covered. It says President Donald Trump announced he is placing the Washington, D.C. Police Department under direct federal control and deploying National Guard troops to the nation capital, saying the move is aimed at restoring order in the city. Said the president has repeatedly complained about rising crime in D.C. Said, but overall crime numbers are lower this year than in 2024. Said, here's our fact check. Says here, said the city police department and the mayor Browser did not know about Trump plan ahead of his announcement. After Trump announcement, Browser struck a largely diplomatic tone through she called the president move unsettling and unprecedented. So we see it right here. He's slowly, you know, putting his plan into place. You know, when you go into that Project 2025, also Project Esther, you know, a lot of these things are taking place. You know, we already know what this all is leading to, total control. So right now, you know, he feel like he can lock down Washington, D.C. You know, he feel like he can lock down the rest of these cities one behind another, you know, putting that plan into place left and right. So we already know we're coming upon a new world order. So a lot of things are coming into place. So it's already saying also that he's getting ready to meet with President Putin, the Russian president. I think it's next week sometime that he's gonna meet with him. I think I had a video on that. So he's gonna meet with him and they're gonna try to negotiate about stopping the war in Ukraine, ceasefire. So, you know, when they say peace and safety, then total destruction will come upon them. So that's where we're at right now. So we're seeing a lot of different things that's happening. So Putin right now, you know, all of a sudden, you know, they was getting on to him about these the Epstein file, and all of a sudden now he just switched it off and saying it's crime and different things that's going on in Washington D.C. So we already know that this is a total takeover. You know, he's taking over. Well, basically, he's federalizing the police. You know, with the military. So this is exactly what he's slowly turning this place into a military state. So let's go here to this next report here about this. This is in the news break here by Newsbreak, and it says here, it said Trump to meet Putin in coming days, said the Kremlin confirms. It says here, it's a top Kremlin aide said that Donald Trump will meet Vladimir Putin as early as next week, so in what would be the first in-person meeting between an American and Russian president in years. Says at the suggestion of the American side, an agreement were agreed in principles to hold a bilateral meeting at the highest level. So in the coming days, presidential aide told Russian news agency on Thursday, said Trump has recently suggested that a meeting could happen soon. See, we have some very good talks with President Putin today, and there is a very good chance that we could be ending the end of the road, said he told reporters in the Oval Office. So we see it right here that, you know, he was saying he was going to hit Russia with all these different tariffs, but all of a sudden he changed his mind, and now he's trying to go back to the bargaining table and saying that they're going to try to stop the war in Ukraine, a ceasefire, you know, try to do some type of negotiation. But we already know what this is going to lead. We know that World War III is constantly brewing. We know they're setting up the stage for this the MOTB, this digital infrastructure that they're constantly putting into place left and right. You know, order out of chaos. So a lot of things are constantly happening left and right. So this meeting is going to be. So I think it's going to be next week, sometime next week. But so we're gonna constantly, you know, the watchmen, we're gonna constantly be watching, you know, constantly being circumspect and redeeming the time, because we know that these are some very evil times. So now let's get this quick, let's get a quick precept, because we're seeing right now that the nation is very divided. You know, we're seeing that a lot of people now, have a lot of unconcerned, they're not trusting Donald Trump anymore. His approval rating has dropped. You know, they saying right now, this man right here is, you know, they see it right now, he's totally did a 360. He's constantly doing this bringing forth these draconian laws. You know, he's speaking as a dragon when you go to Revelation chapter 12. So the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. So let's get this right here. So this right here is rumors that it could be a civil unrest, a civil war. So exactly what he's constantly putting into place. These people are getting ready to buck up against it. You know, he's putting already have these ICE agents on the street. Now he's talking about in collaboration with the National Guards. Also, he's saying deploying 1,000 National Guard in Washington, D.C. Already have the Marine and the National Guard and ICE in L.A. as we speak. So while you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. And also it said they can start here, and then they said that is a possibility they're going to go to Chicago and help fight crime up there, you know, supposedly, you know what I'm saying? So let's get this right quick. It says, Matthew chapter 12 and verse 25, it says, Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, say, any kingdom divided by civil war, say, is doomed. Say, a town or a family splendid by feuding will fall apart. So let's read that now in the KJV. It said, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. Verse 26, it said, and if Satan cast out Satan, say he is divided against himself, how shall then his kingdom stand? So one thing about it is that, you know, we know that we're very close, you know, to civil unrest, uproars of the people. These things are going to happen left and right. Let's read Matthew chapter 12 in the NLT once again. It says, and Yahushua knew their thoughts and replied, any kingdom divided by civil war is doomed. Say a town or family splendid by feuding will fall apart. So that's where we at right now. We're seeing America is slowly falling apart. It's constantly what? Circling the drain. So we know that we're here. You know what I'm saying? We constantly seeing these things left and right. So let's get this first little video. We'll bring up this first video. This lady's kind of breaking it down what happened today in Washington, D.C. about, this, how he slowly is putting all these things into place, talking about to help with crime, to help with homelessness. It just, so we already know what this is all about. Let's get this first video.
August 11th. Yesterday, in a Truth Social post, as you can see, Trump warned the homeless people. He said, get out immediately or you're going to be arrested. He said criminals are going to be arrested. But if you remember the executive order he signed on July 24th, criminalizing homelessness, he's going to go out there and he's going to arrest homeless people. You watch. Okay? 1,000 National Guard members. He's federalizing Washington, D.C. This is where we're at. This is what it looked like last night. He's not going to stop with D.C. It's not going to end there. This is only the beginning. Supposedly he's got a big announcement to make about D.C. today and the crime rate at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's in about 5.5 hours, a little less than that. And the thing is that in D.C., yes, it's a city, but it's a safe city. There's some crime, just like all cities, but the crime rate has been down substantially, about 26%. The last 2 years, it's really gotten a lot safer than what it was. This is not about crime. This is about exerting power and control. I will keep you updated on this, but this is what's going down.
That's another one right there. So we see it right now. It's going down. Let me stop it right quick. And so we seeing that these things are constantly picking up. This man is putting these things into play, one executive order behind another. Every day we can't hardly keep up with these things. But now all of a sudden now he wants to lock down Washington, D.C. and already the reports that that the crime rate is very low. So we already know what this is all about. I think this is a little part of this meeting. What he had today. This is what he was talking about today. The same thing. Saying that it was a liberation day. Saying that liberation of what? You know what I'm saying? We already know what this is all about, to make America great again.
This is Liberation Day in D.C. and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
So we see it right now that, the cruel law, he's coming with these draconian laws, they coming. So let's get this right quick. Let's go here to, one moment. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 19. Let's get this right quick. Isaiah chapter 19. I got a few more videos. Fair use, only for edification purpose. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 19. Because this is exactly what's getting ready to happen. This civil unrest, this civil war, it's going to cause these things to happen because a lot of people are getting ready to buck up. They shall not regard their king or princess. In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So that's what we very close to. Let's read this verse, Isaiah chapter 19. Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. It said, and I will set the Egyptian against the Egyptian, and they shall fight every one against his brother and every one against his neighbor, city against city and kingdom against kingdom. So that's what's, we're very on the verge of that happening. The modern day Egyptians are the Americans. So we're seeing right now, there's a lot of not trusting the government anymore. There's a lot of uncertainties. A lot of people are thinking right now that this place is finished. We're seeing right now, they feel that they're getting that the government is turning on the people. So right now, all these different things that he's putting into play is only going to cause order out of chaos. You know what I'm saying? Egyptian against Egyptian, one city against a city, one neighbor against a neighbor, one brother against a brother. It's going to be total lawlessness. So let's drop down here to verse 4. So we seeing this cruel law is right now he bringing it forth. The devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. It says here, Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 4 said, and the Egyptian will I give over to the hands of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, says the Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies. So right now we're seeing that cruel Lord, which in fact is DJ Donald Trump, you know what I'm saying, which in fact reincarnation of Nero. He is getting ready to get it popping. So we slowly seeing that they're constantly putting these things into place, constantly seeing that they're putting this new digital infrastructure into place, this new big brother watching, we put it like that. A lot of these things are coming into play. And also, that these war drums are constantly beating, they constantly saying about negotiations and trying to make a ceasefire. But we already know that, war is constantly brewing. It's just like the Bible said, it will come to pass. So let's go here to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. Let's get this right quick. And when they say peace and safety, their total destruction will come upon them. Phone moving kind of slow. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, and we'll start up at the top at verse 1. It said, but of the times and the season, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Verse 2 said, for yourself know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Verse 3 said, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So that's where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? When they say peace and safety, peace and security, right now, we know that DJ Donald Trump is trying to have his meeting with Putin, and we're going to see how it turned out, trying to have peace talk, trying to come to some type of negotiation. But we're already knowing that the Lord is getting ready to totally destroy this place. So let's read this again in the NLT, 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 3 in the NLT said, so when people are saying everything is peaceful and secure, then disaster will fall on them as suddenly as a pregnant woman labor pains begin, and there will be no escape. So that's what we're coming to. All hell is getting ready to break loose. The third war, the second war has passed, but the third will come quickly. So that's where we at right now. You know what I'm saying? These war drums are constantly beating left and right. So we already know that this I think it's the Home Act, the 740. I think it's the 740 Home Act that DJ Donald Trump. This act is this new crime to prevent crime and homelessness. I think it's 740 Home Act. I think that's the name of that bill. But, we seeing that we're very close. I got another quick video, fair use. Once I find them, I'll pull it up for you in a minute. It's about the war news. So before we started up, is that we seeing that Russia is in collaboration with Cuba and Venezuela to bring missiles in Venezuela and also in Cuba. So, it's right now we're seeing that Russia is lining up things right in our own backyard. So we already know that these things are constantly happening. We're seeing these new alliances that's constantly coming against NATO in the West and also Israel. So we're seeing these things are constantly picking up. Ezekiel chapter 38. So let's get a little of this news report here, this World War III report. Then we'll get a few precepts, then we'll close out. Salaki for that. Let's start it back up here.
Nuclear submarines closer to Russia.
Oh man, one moment.
And plus he was going to
Phone want to act up. That's just the devil.
Nuclear hypersonic missile in Venezuela or Cuba because Trump said he was going to send 2 nuclear submarines closer to Russia, and plus he was going to deploy them. And Germany deployed nuclear weapons in Germany and in the UK. This is also the reason why Russia wants to deploy the missiles into Belarus, so that Belarus would have faster hypersonic nuclear missiles to react to if NATO was able to attack Russia or to go to war with Belarus. Here's another one saying that Russia is considering Venezuela for their Resnik missile presence as it expands its hypersonic reach. By the way, the missiles will be able to get here within 6 minutes, so it's not your average 15 to 30 minutes to hit the United States. It would literally be about 15 to probably 4 minutes. Trump also said now that the deadline's up that these sanctions are going to be eventually going on China, India, and Brazil. It was supposed to happen today. I know he hit India yesterday, but he did say that there's more tariffs coming. And India is also trying to make a deal to stop buying Russian oil, or at least as much. Here's another one about Trump going after India and China as they're in the crosshairs over U.S. retaliation over Russian ties. Russia and China are also doing joint drills, where their joint drills just ended, and they're doing joint patrols near Japan right now. China and Russia said these drills are not aimed at any third party and urged relevant parties to view cooperation objectively and rationally. For now, India has paused plans to buy U.S. arms because of Trump's tariffs, but this is going to be likely to change as they're trying to work out a deal so Trump don't put any more tariffs on them. Iran and Egypt is telling Israel to get the hell out of southern Lebanon. As they're getting ready to take the Gaza Strip, they're in position to take Gaza City at the moment in Gaza, and they're also talking about running this operation in southern Lebanon, which prompted Hezbollah to try to step into the war. The U.S. is making decoys of China's air defense systems as they're trying to destroy them and get ready for a full-blown war with China, just like China's doing with the U.S. aircraft carriers. They're making these mock aircraft carriers and warships, and then they send missiles to destroy them in a simulated attack. And this is coming at a time as Britain is getting ready to fight with China over Taiwan, as they said they are ready to fight. And the Philippines is trying to build a coalition of the willing of countries that's willing to fight China over Taiwan, which the Philippines said they would protect Taiwan, which prompted China to say, stop playing with fire. China is also ramping up drills in the South China Sea as India and the Philippines not only signed a defense treaty, but also did joint drills for the first time in the South China Sea. We have 3 Chinese ships that was really close to Taiwan as well. We have Germany warning of nuclear war and even said that they originally thought Russia would attack in 2029. Now they're saying it could happen a lot sooner, which y'all know they've been talking about 2026, 2027 now, even possibly 2025 if things keep going bad. Netanyahu confirmed that Israel gave help to India during the war with Pakistan just a few months ago. Pakistan said they also killed about 33 India-sponsored militants that was crossing from Afghanistan, saying that weapons, ammunition, and explosives were recovered, so they were planning an attack for sure. Pakistan also warned if India does the Operation Sindoor again, that they're going to do deep strikes inside of India's territory and try to hit the east instead of the west. We have NATO condemning Russia for cyber attacks and brands Putin a threat to the security. There was 10 wounded in strikes that Israel did on southern Lebanon. And here's the one about Israel saying that they're going to retake Gaza as they're escalating the war with Hamas and their position to take over Gaza City. So this is the latest. I'll see y'all over on Javante the Entertainer.
So you see right now a lot of things going on in the world. So this is the calm before the storm. So all hell could break loose at any given time. So we already seeing that Russia is constantly negotiating with Cuba and constantly, saying that they're trying to get their missile closer to what? In America's backyard, and also Venezuela, so these alliances are coming together against the West. Also, we seeing that the war drums are beat against Taiwan and China, and also we seeing that Iran and Israel is constantly picking up. Ezekiel chapter 38. The Lord's getting ready to send that destroying wind. Things can go nuclear, but we know before we can go nuclear, we know they're gonna have to implement what the sea help, that grain of rice. So, all these things are already in place. So let's get this here, that we know that the second war has passed, but the third will come quickly. I quoted it, 11 and I think it's verse 14. It says here, Revelation chapter 11 and verse 14, it says, the second woe is past, talking about World War II, and woe goes into destruction. And behold, the third woe come quickly. So that's exactly what we're seeing. We're hearing rumors of war. We seeing all these different calamities and catastrophes around the world simultaneously. We constantly hearing about this flooding. This flooding was I think it was a couple of days ago in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He's saying that, that's flooding, unusual. These things are happening. A lot of people saying it's cloud seeding, saying that, that is this heart manipulating, but we knowing that this is, the Lord's doing. The Lord is calling these things to happen left and right. The Lord is in perfect control. So we constantly seeing these judgments coming down left and right, these plagues, they're not slacking down for a moment. So let's read this once again. It says here in the NLT, it said the second terror is past, but look, the third terror is coming quickly. So, hey, that terror is coming. We constantly warning you left and right. These things are constantly picking up left and right. A lot of people, they constantly talking about their birthday, talking about going on a cruise, talking about, trying to accomplish something at their job. We know we need our job to pay these damn bills. But one thing about it, we already know that all these things are getting ready to come to an end. The day comes when no man worketh. Right now, it's time to seek the Lord while he can be found. So we're seeing a lot of things that this man is constantly putting into play. DJ Donald Trump, he had lost his mind, but he is getting ready to get it popping. We're rejoicing because we already knowing that, we got there almost at the end of this man's rulership. We're constantly seeing these things left and right. World War III is fast approaching. So now let's go here to Second Esdras. There's something else I wanted to get before I went to second. Let's go here to Psalms. Let's go here to Psalm chapter 2. We're seeing that the heathens are raging. They imagine that vain thing left and right. We're constantly seeing that, Trump is constantly, threatening, China, pretty much everybody, with these tariffs and different things like that. But he thought he was going to call Putin bluff, but Putin, he did not budge. So now he's trying to negotiate once again. See here, so we're seeing that America is slowly, constantly poking the bear, and they get ready to F around and find out. Says here, so why do the heathen rage and the people imagine a vain thing? You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, that's what we constantly seeing. These heathens are raging right now. They're constantly trying to get in a position to be the next superpower. But we already know the next superpower coming is the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. The Lord he's coming. We see that the Lord is getting ready to come out of his place. We see that these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. One thing is about is obvious and clear. The end is being manifest right before our eyes. So now let's go here to Revelations. Let's go here to Revelation, back to Revelations. Something I want to get out of there. So we're seeing right now that he's saying that he's going to take the homeless people off the street. Also, people that have mental illness, people that have drug addiction, that they are drug addicts. You're going to have a place for them. We already know about these facilities. So let's get this right quick in Revelation chapter 2. Let's go to here right quick. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. The devil shall cast some of you into prison. So that's where we at right now. This devil, he's getting ready to try. That's why he got these FEMA camps, the facility, alligator, Alcatraz, a lot of these things this man is constantly putting into place. While you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. That's what we constantly warn you about left and right. It says here, Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10 said, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Said, behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So one thing about it, we already knowing right now, this man already have these facilities, these FEMA camps, these with alligator Alcatraz. It's already started talking about deportation, trying to get these illegals out of here, so-called illegal aliens out of here. But we already know what the deal is. They are targeting people of color. You know what I'm saying? And right now we know that we're getting very close to the Jacob's trouble. So the devil shall cast some of you into prison, where just a certain amount of time. But the Lord said, "Be thy faith." Keep the faith. You know what I'm saying? Strive for this truth to the end. The same that endure, the same shall be saved. So we already know right now, a lot of these people that they're going to pick up are never going to be seen again. So, and also this going to be dealing with depopulation. You don't want to go in there too deep. So this is what all this is going to lead. We got a place for you, but a lot of people going to go in, but they're not going to come back out. So we coming upon these things, left and right. Let's read this in the NLT. It said Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10. It said, but be afraid of what you are about to suffer. Salakit. Revelation chapter 2 and verse 10 said, don't be afraid of what you are about to suffer. Said the devil will throw some of you into prison to test you. Say, you will suffer for 10 days. But if you remain faithful, even when facing death, I will give you a crown of life. So that's talking about the elect. You know, so we will not bend the foe. You know, even though a lot of some of the men of the Lord would be martyrs for this truth, but you know, if that's your lot. But one thing about it, we're not even giving a damn about what this man is trying to do. We're not giving a damn about this man, a new beast system that he's putting into play, because we know that we're very close. You know what I'm saying? The Lord already said that his hands would not be able to perform his enterprise. I have one more video we're going to show, then we're going to close out. It's another one I want to show. I got to get to it right quick, one moment. And we're seeing that we're very close. That these turbulent times are coming upon us left and right, man. These things are happening at a very fast pace. Let's get this by this guy. He's talking about what happened in Washington, D.C. Let's get a little bit more on that. We know about this Milwaukee flood. I did a report on it yesterday. Let's get a little of this video, then we'll go back to that one. Let's get to them. Fair use, fair use.
Breaking news out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin suburbs, where the Milwaukee State Fair is occurring. There has been a flash flood with vehicles being trapped in water. As you can see from the video behind me, there is a truck and some cars trying to leave the Milwaukee State Fair, and they are completely stuck in this water. Here's some more. Now the State Fair had to unexpectedly close due to these flash floods, and this is this Saturday evening.
So we're seeing that the Lord is constantly bringing these things left and right. And so it's, you know, a lot of people got displaced. You know, a lot of people right now are homeless, you know, so we already know they're setting the stage for, you know, that the military to come in. Oh, we're going to place you in a facility. We're here to help you. But they're not here to help you. They're here to get rid of a lot of people, the people of color. So that's where we at right now. Let's get a little bit, we'll let it play a little bit more, you know, show you a little bit more of this video. Well, I put out video, I think it was yesterday about this. It's something else I want to show right quick before we start. Let's get a little bit more on this Washington, D.C. Takeover of Washington, D.C. So this man right here is saying that this is the quiet before the storm, and for them to implement martial law or call some type of lockdown. So let's get this a little bit right here. Let's get a little bit of this video.
Is the next phase of the impending CW, if you know what I mean.
News that we've just received into our newsroom. So we're getting this information from multiple sources, both with Mayor Bowser and with MPD, telling us that as of 6 o'clock this evening, they strongly believe, sources both within the mayor's office and within Metro Police Department, that President Trump, come tomorrow, will deploy the National Guard along the streets of D.C. That is the information that is now coming into our newsroom.
Donald Trump is set to announce the deployment of 1,000 National Guard members in Washington. Yet, Washington, D.C. has had the lowest crime rate in the last 30 years, 25% reduction over the last couple of years. And yet, he is about to deploy the National Guard. They tried this with the Hispanic community, and candidly, they're not the Black community. It is not until the Black people, our people, get out there in the street that everything will change. Everything will change when Black folks get out in the street. Now, the problem is, and I am not one of those conspiracy theorists, nor am I one of those people to say, I told you so. But I got on this app, and with Ricky Smiley, I said that we are facing some impending challenges, some serious issues. And there were people in the comment section who said that I was a coward. And the common thread that I heard is that God is going to take care of everything. The reality is, I believe that God will take care of everything. The problem that we've had is that we've had this faith that is without works. And when God gives
see what he just said? Faith without work is what is dead. So a lot of people right now, they're going to be in a rude awakening. You know, this man is constantly putting these things into place right before our eyes, man. We're here, man. It's at the door, man. Let's go here. Let's get to here, 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. We probably get one more, we close out. Just, you know, something that I'm just seeing through the Spirit. You know, the Lord has set up watchmen to warn you of all these impending dangers. Let's go here. 2nd Esdras, chapter 15. And we probably go to 2nd Ezra chapter 7, we'll close out. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 15. And it reads that, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh. Salakia, one moment, it's acting up. Oh man, let me go to this other one right quick. But yeah, we're seeing right now that we are very close to these things coming into play, you know, civil unrest. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see a lot of different things coming up, you know what I'm saying? A lawless time. Let me see if I can put up this other app right quick. Might have to go get my, one moment. See, can I pull up this other Bible app right quick? And if not, I had to go get my apocrypha off the table there. See, I might have to go get it. Let's see here. Let's see, I think we can put it up here. 2nd Ezra chapter 15. Let's get chapter 15 and verse 15. It says here, it says, for the sword and their destruction draws nigh, or near, and one people shall stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. So we know the modern day sword is the gun. So all sorts of weaponry, we're seeing that these things that get ready to come into play left and right. It says here, verse 16, says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So right now, we already know becoming a sedition goes into a rioting, you know what I'm saying? Looting, you know what I'm saying? Protesting. That's where we at right now. You know, they're saying that already they were protesting in Washington, D.C. And also we know that this is going to spill over into other cities and other states. You know what I'm saying? One day Bible is saying that Washington, D.C. is what you would call a test run. So we already knowing that, you know, all the tests are over. They get ready to bring it forward. And we seeing it left and right. So let's read this once again. It said, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. So when it's time of trouble come, they're not going to regard the government. They're not going to regard the military. They're not going to regard each other. It's going to be a lawless time, kill or be killed. That's what we're coming down to, a time of trouble that we've never seen before. It says here, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because right now we're seeing they slowly is locking down Washington, D.C. So after a while, they're gonna come up with a curfew. And after you be caught after a certain time, then they're gonna take you to a facility. So they constantly locking things down one behind another. That's exactly what this man wants, total control. It says here, and also they're gonna have these checkpoints, you know what I'm saying, these blockades all over different states and cities. So we coming upon these times. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have the right credentials under your skin, then you're not going to be able to travel. You're not going to be able to do a damn thing. Let's go here. It says here, it says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because of what? The lockdown, because of what? The mandates, because of these checkpoints. You know what I'm saying? What they slowly putting into play. This place is slowly becoming what? A police state. Verse 19 said, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because the lack of bread and great tribulation. So we right upon that time. You know, lack of bread goes into your necessity, your way of life. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is constantly breaking the staff of bread. You know what I'm saying? Your livelihood. You know, we're already seeing in the news that with Walmart, you know, they constantly closing a lot of their stores across America. We already know that they closing because they're going to be new facilities also. You know, that's a whole nother story. So we're seeing a lot of people right now are becoming jobless. You know, they're coming unemployed. So we're seeing how this picture is slowly looking. You know, they're setting the stage for this order out of chaos. You know, no food, no water, you know, no resources, you know, no power. You know what I'm saying? The power grid would be out. You know, famine of the word is coming. We're constantly warning you about these things left and right. You know, so it said they shall have no pity. Let's read this once again. 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. Say, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods, because the lack of bread and great tribulation. So that's where we at right now. Shalom. Shalom to you. Shalom to you to join me on this live. But one thing about it, we seeing that we're here, man. Man, I'm telling you, man, these things are fast approaching. We seeing that, man, this man will total control. We seeing that this is what's that name of that movie? I can't think of the name of that movie. It was called Gray State. And the guy that was getting ready to try to put this movie out, or this documentary out, he was unalive. So this man had a lot of good points in it. So we see it right now that Donald Trump is federalizing the police, and also he's getting ready to use the military against the citizen. You know, this is lining up like the movie Civil War, you know, Leave the World Behind. Or what's that other movie? Red Dawn, you know what I'm saying? Watch that movie, you know, the invasion, you know. So we already know that a lot of these things are coming into place. The Lord is seeing that right now that we're here. Let's go here to Jeremiah. You know, we're seeing these things are constantly picking up left and right before our eyes, man. These things are constantly slowly happening, you know, flooding, you know, hurricane. Also, it was saying that it was two hurricanes were forming in the Gulf of Mexico, two at the same time. So we already know where we at. This man is right here. He got bounds that he cannot pass. So let's go here to Jeremiah chapter 51. Let's get a little of this right here. Jeremiah. Let's go back up here at the top. Jeremiah chapter, let's see, Jeremiah chapter 51. We started at verse 4. Jeremiah chapter 51. And my phone keep acting up a little bit. And we started at verse 6. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 8. It said, flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Said, be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. So he will render unto her a recompense. So that's what the Lord is getting ready to do. The Lord is getting ready to repay. The Lord is getting ready to judge this place. You know, how do we flee out of the midst of Babylon? Spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of the time. You know what I'm saying? Stability, your faith. You know what I'm saying? You got to have that blind faith when these things come upon us. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are not going to have faith. A lot of people don't fear the Lord. But one thing about it, that, you know, the Lord's getting ready to show up and show out. That's what we're constantly warning you about, left and right. You know, that's why we're doing it right now. You know, we know that the name of the Lord also, this wisdom and knowledge, this gospel, shall be a stronghold in times of trouble. Verse 7 said, Babylon has been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. Said the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So right now we know that Babylon, which in fact, you know, aka America, you know, has been that golden cup in the Lord's hand. You've been the number one superpower, but now we're seeing that America is slowly on the decline. Also, we know that America has a major influence around the world. All the nations have drunken of the wine, have fornicated with the whore, you know what I'm saying, live deliciously off the delicacy of the whore. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people came over here, you know what I'm saying, and got rich. A lot of people came over that do thy will spirit, you know, all sorts of iniquity, all sorts of sexual immorality. This place is very wicked. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place. That's where we at right now. So the nations are mad. They have drunken of this wine, you know, the philosophy, the democracy, you know what I'm saying, this mindset. So this man right here is getting ready to destroy many. You know what I'm saying? We see it right now with this new world order. It says here, it said, verse 8 said, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Said, howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed. But one thing about it, we know that this place will never be healed. This place is constantly on a downward trajectory. You know, it's going out. And one thing about it, we already know that, you know, would never ever rise again. This place is getting ready to be totally destroyed. There will be no inhabitant left here. You know, this place will not be here. The Lord is getting ready to destroy this place with those IBCM missiles and also that laser and chariot fire. Verse 9, it said, say, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. Say, and let everyone go unto his own country, for her judgment reaches unto the heavens and is lifted unto the skies. So right now the Lord is, you know, is constantly making inquisition. The Lord is visiting the earth that he created. You know what we're seeing, that these UFO sites are all across the world. The eyes of the Lord constantly beholding the good and the evil. And one thing about it, the Lord is causing these different things that are happening around the world. You know, we're seeing that, you know, right now this nation is divided. If a nation is divided, it cannot stand. So this nation is very divided. Civil unrest, civil war. We got the brink of all that. And also we got the brink of a World War III, and also the implementation of the RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. Let's get this right quick here. It says, Jeremiah chapter 51, because we already know it, they come with this invading force, these sleepers here. It said, the Lord of hosts has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up and shout against thee. Verse 15 said, so he has made the earth by his power and established the world by his, this is something else, right? That's the point I want to make right here. Let's read verse 14 again. Let's start at verse 13. You know, I'm jumping the gun, Salaki. Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 13 said, O thou that dwellest upon many waters, abundant in treasures, say thy end is come, and the measure of thy covetousness. It's talking about America, Babylon the Great, that whore that sits on many waters. Verse 14 said, the Lord of hosts, or the Lord of armies, has sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. You know, they shall lift up a shout and what? In triumph. So we seeing right now that it was a video I seen a while back. This man said that you get ready to find out who I am very soon. So we already knowing that the stage is set. They already have these sleeper cells already lining up. You know, it's all they doing is waiting on the okay, you know, to bring forth this order out of chaos. So we already knowing that the stage is set for something to happen. It could be a black swan event, could be some type of false flag event, you know. So we already know that this devil is getting ready to get out. We know that he's coming with it. You know, shalom to hope, grace, and mercy. 144. Call you Halabajah. Shalom, Brakatha to you, brother, for joining me on this live. So you see it right now that we're very close. These news and prophecy, these things are constantly being manifested right before our eye. The prophecies are speaking loud and clear. And one thing about it, we seeing that, you know, the Lord has set a watchman to warn you of all these impending dangers, you know. And right now we're seeing that these prophecies are lining up just like clockwork, man. We are here. It is at the door. So right now, we're seeing that civil unrest is coming. We're seeing that America right now is slowly on a sharp decline. Also, we know we're coming upon a great economic collapse, a great crashing in the hills. So many things that is going on. And one thing about it, the Lord had to give you that balance to to see what's going on. So this is the calm before the storm. All hell is getting ready to break loose. The mental Lord is constantly warning you left and right. So let's go here and get this one here. The Lord is getting ready to come out of his place. You know, let's go here. You know, he getting ready to break this place off. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 26. That's how we running on time, okay? We go a little bit longer here. Let's go here. Isaiah chapter 26. Let's get this one right quick. Isaiah chapter 26. I think it's verse 21. We're going to go straight to the point. Because the Lord is getting ready to come out of his place. You know what I'm saying? He's getting ready to show up. That's what we constantly warn you about. A lot of people are still scoffing and mocking, still are playing games. But all the games are about to be over. Let's go here. Isaiah chapter 26. Going straight to the point. We know the Lord's getting ready to show up in that Father. So we might well get verse 22. You know, so the Lord's getting ready to show up. So we already know that they're saying these objects that was not too far from the sun is getting very close to the earth. They're talking about aliens and talking about they'll be here and within 2 weeks. But we already know what is coming. It's no such thing as alien. You know, the aliens are the angels, the eyes of the Most High. You know, the Negro men that ride around and those so-called, what they English call UFO or UAPs. The Lord is getting ready to show up and show out. We know we are very close. Our salvation is at the door. Isaiah chapter 26, verse 20 says, it said, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut thy doors about thee. Say, hide thyself as it were for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. That indignation goes into righteous anger. And here's the point. It said, for behold, the Lord cometh out of his place, said, to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquity. Said, the earth also shall disclose her blood, and she shall no more cover her slain. So the Lord's getting ready to return. You know what I'm saying? That fathership. You know, that's what we constantly seeing all these different UFO sightings. We seeing talking about these this object. I think they said it was about 7 miles long. You know, so a lot of these things are coming into place. So we're gonna get ready to see a lot of different supernatural things that's getting ready to come into play. So when the enemy coming like a flood, the Lord's going to lift up that standard. That supernatural intervention is getting ready to come into play. So that this is the calm before the storm. So a lot of these things are fast and approaching. That's why we constantly tell you to be watch, pray, and be sober. Be circumspect. Because we know that we are here. These days are evil. Let's go here to this last and final script here. Let's go here to Ephesians. Let's get this one out of Ephesians. We'll close out tongue by dry. Let's see here, Ephesians chapter 5. We'll start up at verse 15. Ephesians chapter 5 and verse 15. And it reads, says, see then that ye walk circumspectly. Said not as fools, but as wise. So when you go into that word circum, circum mean around, and spec mean to look. You know what I'm saying? Look around. So one thing about be aware of your surroundings. Be know what time that we're living in. Shalom to Zachariah Yahauda. Shalom to you, brother. And one thing about it, man, we're here, man. We here left and right, and I know I think it's been about a month since I hadn't been doing a live. I had been feeling too good, but hey, I'm back on it now. So get this job done. Hopefully I'll be able to do more and more. But we know that we're getting very close to the famine of the word, man. We are so very close. So let's read this once again. So we got to be circumspect right now. Because, we're here. Let's read this once again. It says, see then that ye walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise. So, hey, the proof, man, what foresees the evil. We seeing what's coming down the pipeline. We seeing that this devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We seeing right now that World War III is brewing. Also, we seeing the implementation of the RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. So we got to be circumspect in these times. Watch, pray, and be sober. Pray without ceasing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, we're here, man, knowing your surrounding. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what time that we're living in. You know what I'm saying? Knowing, pretty much watching the signs of the time. Verse 16, it says here, redeeming the time because the days are evil. So the days are evil right now. Any given day, you know what I'm saying? We're seeing that the love of many is constantly waxing cold and cold. We're seeing that a lot of people are very covetous, very proud, boasting. What we witnessing the end right before our eyes. You know what I'm saying? This place is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt. This place is very wicked, and the Lord is getting ready to totally destroy this place. So redeem the time wisely. Take every opportunity like it's your last. Seek the Lord while he can be found. Seek the Lord early. And how do you do that? By his mouthpiece. The door of repentance is closing. That's what we constantly warning you about. We're here. So it says here, verse 17 says, so wherefore be ye not unwise, but understanding what the will of the Lord is. So you got to understand what the will of the Lord is. And one thing about it, the middle of the Lord, we're out here constantly sighing and crying, warning you of all these impending dangers. We know that war has come. We know that evil time has come. Jacob's trouble, the hour of temptation, the hour of testing. We know that we're very close to this lawless time. We know that, 2 part therein will be cut off and die. We already know that this devil is getting ready to roll. But one thing about it, we know that we're going to trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. He is the only way and the only answer. Let's go here. Let's get this one more right here. Let's go here to Psalm. We'll close out here in Psalm. Let's go here to Psalms chapter 27. We'll close out here. Psalm chapter 27 and just random scriptures, but we see that we're here. We see that a great multitude is beginning to come killing upon us. And we see that these nations are rising left and right. Let's get this right quick, because we got confidence in our true power, which in fact is Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So let's go here. Let's go straight to the point. It says, Psalm chapter 27, verse 3 says, though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Said, though war shall rise against me. Say, in this will I be confident. And out about, we're going to be confident in who? Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua. So one thing about it, we seeing that these things are constantly coming. We know that we're at the brink of war. We see we're at the brink of civil unrest. We see that sedition among men. A lot of these things right now, we right at it, just like a ticking time bomb, So these things are fast approaching. We know about this man is constantly putting these executive orders into place, these unrighteous decrees that he held prescribed. Also, he's framing mischief by law. When you go to Psalm chapter 94. So there's a lot of scripture I can keep bringing out, but we know that that we're very close. We knowing that the famine of the word is fast approaching. We knowing that about this YouTube thing that's coming up. I think Wednesday about this. I can't think of some type of act they putting into place. Censorship, going to the freedom of speech. So a lot of these things are coming into place. And one thing about we know that the persecution of the saints is fast approaching. A lot of things is coming down the pipeline. Watch, pray, and be so. Let's get one more. Somebody's telling me to get one more. Let's get this last one right here. Because we see that we're in this transition of power. We're at the end of an age, end of an eon. We're at the end of this wicked queendom. Let's go here to 1 Peter chapter 4. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. We'll close out here. 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7. It says, but the end of all things is at hand. It said, be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. Pray without ceasing. Watch, be vigilant. Know the signs of the time. Sober mind. How do you have a sober mind? A sound mind. This wisdom and this knowledge shall what? Give you peace in times of trouble. So that's where we at right now. So, we're seeing right now the end of all things. What? The end of this age. The end of this eon. You know what I'm saying? We're seeing right now it's slowly, this place is slowly diminishing. We're seeing that the vibration is changing. We're seeing that the Lord is constantly visiting the earth that he created. We're seeing that things are constantly happening on a fast level. The Lord said, for the elect's sake, those days shall be short. So right now, that's what we got to be doing. Praying without ceasing. Put on the whole armor of Yahweh Ba'ashim Al-Shai. The Lord is going to get us to the finish line. We're very close. So, man, I'm telling you, man, these things are fast approaching. See if anything else I need to bring out before I let y'all go. So we're seeing right now, we know we're coming upon this cast aside. We're seeing right now this man is putting this act into place to deal with homeless people. Why are you fooling with people that are helpless, man? We already know what this is all about. We already know that he has these facilities into place. We already know that he coming with this grain of rice under your skin. Do not take it. Trust and believe in Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. So at the end, he'll speak and not lie. We seeing these things that happen every day. Prophecy is speaking loud and clear. It is high time to prophesy and seek your true power while he can be found. So the title of the live lesson today was News and Prophecy, the calm before the storm. So I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai Ba'ashim Rekah Kwadash. I like to say Shalom, Shalom, and also double honors to the elders of Great Millstone while lunch is true, and also to the Hope elect that's scattered abroad. I like to say Shalom, DTA Ababa Baal, Kwam Yasharala, Shalom, Shalom.